Hello friends, today in this tutorial I will basically show you how you can export HTML table into PDF document using Puppeteer library, and we will be doing it inside Node.js and Express, and you will basically see this is application. So here we will be generating dynamic table, and we will be requesting the user to fill out how many rows and columns inside the table that the user wants. So we will be expecting number of rows. So I will enter, let's suppose I want to generate a table 3 rows and 3 columns, and I will simply create table, and now you will see automatically my table will be generated. And now I can change basically the column name, whatever column name that I want to put in. So you can see dynamic table column names, you can say name, age, country. So in this way you can edit the column names, and also now you can edit the values as well. So here, like this. So in this way you can make dynamic tables. So we have 3 rows, 3 columns. So as I fill out these entries, guys, we have basically a button out there to generate the PDF, and if I basically click this button, Puppeteer will automatically take the screenshot of it alongside with the CSS styles. And if I open this now, you will basically see the table has been converted into a PDF document, and the CSS styles have also been applied here. You will see basically the column names, name, age, country, and basically the 3 rows out there, the data here. So we are actually using that web scraping library, which is a Puppeteer in Node.js. So if you go to npm.js, this is the actual package we are using for our dependency. So PUPPETER. So this is actually the package which we are using inside Node.js and Express application to actually carry out this application. So you just need to install this package. The command is very simple, which is npm I Puppeteer. So simply install this package. Apart from that, we will also use the Express package, which will be the actual web server for Node.js in order to create a web server. So the commands are very simple. All the source code, guys, is given in the description of the video. If you want the full source code of this, you can purchase it in PayPal, in United States dollar, or Stripe in Indian rupees. So both the payment links are given in the description of the video. So we can simply install these packages npm I Express and Puppeteer. So these are the 2 packages which are needed here. So we can install it using npm I Express Puppeteer. So these 2 packages are there. Simply install these, and now I will show you basically how we can extract this. So I will delete all that HTML and JavaScript and start from scratch. So first of all, what we need to do, we need to now initialize our Express server with Puppeteer. So just make this, basically it's a directory structure. You need to create a public folder. Here you will be storing your HTML file and the CSS file. So this is your index.js. Basically this will be the server side code. So inside server side code, guys, we first of all need to include Express. So we just need to require at the very top, we just need to make a new app here of Express. We will say port number will be 3000, and we will simply make this directory of public as static. So express.static is public, and then we also use express.json, so because we are working with forms, that's why, and also express.url encoded extended to true. So these 2 middlewares are necessary because we are actually using with forms, so that's why we need to include these 2 middlewares. And right here, whenever we make a get request, whenever we open the home route, we will actually load this index.html file, So we will simply say here, you don't need to write this if you have made this public as static directory. I've already made this public directory as static, so you don't need to write the get request. It will automatically load that. We just need to start this. So app.listen on 3000 port number. So in the callback, we can simply say that your app is listening on port 3000. And if you basically now run this node-mod index.js, so it will basically start your server at port number 3000. And if you now open this application so nothing will be present right here. Now we need to create our index.html. We will actually write the JavaScript code in a different file. So I will simply write here, include this script source script.js. So inside the public folder, we will create a new file which is script.js, and in the index.html, we will actually now write the simple HTML code here. We will have a heading here, which is table to PDF generator. And here, guys, we will basically we will expect a user to enter the number of rows. So you will say number of rows. The user will enter the number of rows and columns. So after this label, we will have an input field, input type number, and we will give it an ID to it of rows, and placeholder will be enter number of rows. And similarly, after this, we will have another input field where we will ask the user to enter the number of columns. So number of columns, input type number, and this will be ID for columns. Placeholder, enter number of columns. And after that, we will have a button, and this will actually say create table. So based upon the values that you provide, a table will be generated. We will give it an on-click listener. When we click this button, this function will execute, which is create table. Now we just need to define this function, and we will have another div tag. We will give it an ID. Here the table will be generated, table container. That's all. So go to script.js, and here we will actually write this function, which is we'll declare a global variable of table, and we will write this function create table. And inside this, we will simply say how many rows the user has submitted. We will use the parseInt function to actually convert that string value to a number. And we can even give a default value as well. If no user 2, if the rows haven't been provided, we can take 2 by default. Same process, we will repeat this for rows, columns as well. Dot value, and if no value is provided, then take 2 as OR operator. So we got rows and columns. After this, we will simply create the table. So table container, we will say document.getElement by ID, table container. So we are getting the reference to the element on which we need to create the table. So inner HTML will be nothing. And here we will simply declare table to document.createElement. CreateElement is a function by which you can create dynamic elements, DOM elements. In this case, we need to create a table element. And then here we just need to say header row. So header row, we will simply make sure it contains a method which is insert row. We will basically insert a row here. This will be a header row which will actually contain the columns. And for the columns here, we will run the actual for loop. So how many columns the user has selected. So it will run I columns, I++, and this for loop basically will create the document.create element. Again, we will use this function to actually create this time the table heading element of a table, and cell.content editable, this will be true. So this makes sure guys that you can edit the values whatever table heading that you want to choose. If you provide it to false, then you can't edit the values, so that's why we are providing it to true. So after this, cell.inner HTML will be equal to column plus I plus 1. That's all. So, and after this we just need to say header row, which wherever you need to say append child, we will append this cell to the header row. So header row basically it's the row that we created which contains this table heading. So if you just refresh this application guys, you will basically see if I select here 2, click on this, nothing will happen. Let me see. 2. Let me see guys why it is not executing it. Script.js create table. So we are executing this function. So let me cross check here if it is working or not. Hello world. So JavaScript code is executing, and let me just say here, okay, sorry, I think okay, we haven't added this to the table guys, that's why this is a problem. We also need to add the table to the okay, we haven't added the table element. So table container append child, actually the table, so we haven't added the table that we created. So this is the actual table variable that we created, so we also need to add this as a append child. So right here, so if you now refresh here, basically just here provide the number of rows, columns, so you can see basically now you can edit the tables. So this is basically content editable. If you make it false, then we can't edit the names of the column. This is very useful. If you should know what this property does. So again, if I say here 2, now you can't edit. So this is the actual property that we used, content editable. So just make it to true. After this, we can delete this hello world. So please, if you are liking the video guys, please hit that like button, subscribe the channel as well, and show the support. And after this, after we added the column names guys, we will actually this is actual styles that we have for the table guys, because you can see font family, we are aligning the heading in the center position, width is 100, border collapse, margin top 20 pixels. You can just pause the video and write this, because this video is not on CSS, that's why. This is background color for the table headings, highlight row. So these are all column styles here, and now we can basically make a function here. Just before we are adding this to the header row, we can simply make a function to apply these column styles dynamically. So we can say apply column styles, and we can pass the cell number. So here we can actually create this function, which will be function apply column styles cell. So inside this function guys, what we can say is the cell.style border, and this will be 1 pixel solid, the same style that we have used in the CSS. And cell.style.text align, we need to align it in the left position. So left, cell.style.padding 8 pixel, that's all. So now it will have all the styles here. So after this, after we added this, now we need to repeat the same things for the columns as well guys. So sorry, rows, how many rows the user selected. Based upon that, we will run a for loop and we will create a row element. So const new row. So table dot insert row. We will use this function again, and this will again, so this will contain a inner loop as well, guys, based upon the values that you want to provide in the rows. So it will run how many columns are there, j plus plus, and we will say the cell value. So now we need to create a cell here in the row. So new row, it contains a method here which is insert cell. This is a method. So these are all vanilla JavaScript methods, guys. These are built-in methods for manipulating the DOM inside your browser. So I'm not using any sort of third-party library. These are all built-in JavaScript methods to interact with the DOM, document object module. So now we can basically make this also content editable to be true, all these to be editable, cell.innerHTML to be a value, and just make it V capital. And now we can call the same function, pass the cell to just preserve the styles as well. So if you now refresh, guys, basically what, now you will also see the rows as well. You can now see value coming here. Now you can edit the values as well. Also edit the columns in real time. So this very easy interactive table that we generated. Now, guys, we just need to write this function which allows us to, there will be another function after this table container, and inside this we will give it a class to it of button container. Inside this we will have a button which will say generate PDF, and when we click this button we will bind a on click which is generate PDF. That's all. Now we just need to write this function which will actually generate the PDF document for us. So generate PDF. So inside this function, guys, now what we need to do is that we now need to send a AJAX request. First of all, we need to pass the data of the table. So document.getElement by ID table container. So this will contain all the table data, which is the number of rows and columns. So we are getting the reference to this inner HTML. That's all. And then we just need to call a function send invoice or send table data. We will make this function passing the data of the table. So now we just need to make this function which is send table data. We will have the data here, and here we will use AJAX to make a fetch request to the server to express. So here we will simply use fetch, which is a built-in inside the every browser. So we will make a backend request which is generate table. Inside this we will pass some data as an object. The method here will be post because we are posting some things to the endpoint. So we will have these headers, content type, because we are passing some data to this endpoint. So this will be application/JSON, and that's all. So inside the body we will simply pass, we will stringify this data. We will pass this data here by using JSON.stringify. This will actually convert your data into a JSON string, this JSON.stringify. After that, now this will return a promise function. Fetch returns a promise whenever you make a call. It will have the response, and what we can do, we can actually convert the response to blob, a function there. And this will again return a promise, and the blob will be there with us, and now we can console log the blob. Now we just need to first of all make this request in the backend, which is generate table. Just open your this server side code, and now we will actually make this request, which is generate table. So right here we will simply make app.post generate table, and right here it will be a async function, this one, because we are using Puppeteer here. So this will be async, and just we need to include Puppeteer at the very top. So require it Puppeteer. So now guys, we just need to extract the data that we are passing. So now to extract the data, we can use destructuring data from the request body header. We are extracting the data that we are passing inside the fetch request. You will see that we are passing this as a body JSON stringified data inside curly brackets, and now we are basically extracting, destructuring this data right here from the request body header. After that, we can now generate our table, so using Puppeteer. So Puppeteer, it basically contains, we will initialize the browser here, open a new browser window, await Puppeteer launch. It will launch a new browser window, open a new page, browser new page. This is a method to open a new page. And now we need to simply say to the Puppeteer library that you need to capture the screenshot of the table that we are passing to. So we first of all need to set the viewport, which is providing the width, which will be around 1000, and the height to be around 800. And then we need to set the HTML content of the page. So how we can do that? We can simply set page.setContent. This is a function. And here we are setting the content of the page to be HTML, and the body will be close the body, close the HTML, and inside the body tags we will simply embed our data that we are getting from the fetch request. We are passing it. So now we also need to set our CSS, guys, because we also need to apply the CSS style. So Puppeteer contains a method which allows us to do that, which is add style tag. So there are two functions. If you want to add the JavaScript, you can call this function add script tag. If you want to apply CSS, you will provide this function add style tag. Here we will provide our path property. So wherever your CSS file is stored, my CSS is stored inside public style.css. So wherever you have stored your CSS file, this base style sheet will be applied here to the page Puppeteer. So after this Puppeteer, we will actually generate the PDF by using this function, which is page.pdf. This is actual function, guys, which will actually generate the PDF document. Here the format of the PDF document will be A4. Various sizes are there. We will select A4 size, and then we will say print background to be true, and that's all. And then we need to simply close the browser, await browser close. And now we just need to download the PDF file as an attachment, guys. For that we will simply set the headers, content type to be application/PDF, and response.set header again, content disposition. So this is required, guys, because in Node.js, whenever you are downloading something, attachment, and you just need to give it a file name here. So file name will be table.pdf, and then we need to send this PDF buffer. That's all. So we are basically not storing any files in the server. We are directly passing the buffer of the PDF document that is created using Puppeteer. We are directly passing it to the browser and downloading the file as an attachment, PDF file attachment. So if you now refresh your browser, guys, pass here to create a table, and if I basically click this button, you will see your PDF file will be downloaded. Let me see what is the problem. Okay, we are the blob, you will see that guys, the blob has been captured in the browser. We are actually getting this response back from the server. So we are console logging it inside our script.js, if you see early on. And now after we get this blob object, what we need to do is that we just need to download it as an attachment. So we can create a URL by using URL dot create object URL, passing the blob, and then creating an anchor element, document dot create element anchor element, a dot href URL and a dot download, and give it a file name which is table.pdf and document.body.append child a and a.click document.body.remove child. So just remove it after the file has been downloaded from the body. That's all guys. What we are doing here, we are dynamically creating the anchor element for downloading the PDF document here after we receive the blob object from the Node.js server. So if you just refresh now, enter 2 table is generated. You can edit the column names, edit these values and click on generate PDF. You will basically see your table is created and the styles have been applied. The background color, you will see the CSS has also been applied. You can cross check by changing the background color here. Let's suppose I change this background color to, you can style your table accordingly. I'll apply some bootstrap, tailwind, any color that you want to. And if I now refresh here, so 2 so now blue color is there. If you now refresh, blue color will be preserved right here. You will see that. So in this way guys, you can actually create tables inside PDF document using Puppeteer. We are not using any third-party library. We are only using Node.js Express and Puppeteer. If you need the full source code of this application, you can go to the description and you can purchase the full source code if you have any sort of problems by using PayPal or Stripe. And thank you very much guys for watching this video, and I will be seeing you guys in the next live stream. Please subscribe my channel guys. I'm seeing that people are not liking my videos and subscribing it, so please share this video, share my channel, and I will be seeing you in the next video.